Hello, welcome back to Skull Modeling Twins. Today we're going to have a quick look at a Hella product, a 72nd scale Supermarine Spitfire Mk.XVI. So this is one of their range that comes with paint glue and paintbrush. Basically, it's an ideal starter set. So let's go down the bench and see what's on and in the box. So this a Mk.XVI Spitfire is essentially a Mark 9, so it's still a Merlin engine before the Gripen. But it had a two-stage supercharger on the back there, so it's a bit longer than some of the earlier Spitfires in between, say, the rear of the engine and the firewall. It has a teardrop canopy with a cut-down rear fuselage, and because of the changed characteristics of the airflow around that, they had to increase the height of the fin to make the most of the airflow, the changed airflow around the empennage there. This has a clipped wing, which increases roll rate at low altitudes, and the rest is pretty much as a Mark 9. So two Hispano 20mm cannon and little details as pitot probe and carburetor inlet and yada yada. This one is, as it says, RAF 349 Squadron in Belgium in 1945. DGE is the codes. So let's have a look. Right. So the glazed parts are in a separate bag. We'll come back to those. Instructions I'll just put aside for now. What else we've got? We've got 3 lots of paint. They are a matte light grey, a matte sea grey, and a matte olive drab. Not bad little bottles really. Let's just see how the glue, it's a glue, the paint is, it looks perfectly fine to me. It doesn't look dried out or anything at all. No, that's perfectly fine. It certainly survived the trip and the storage and everything else, so that's good. Should be perfectly usable paint, those. They're the same paint numbers as Humbrol. Speaking of Humbrol, comes with a little poly cement, the smell of the 70s. One of those, and a paintbrush. This is a branded Hella number 3. Perfectly serviceable brush as far as I could see. So that's good. That's worth the price of admission right there, I'd say. What else? 1, 2, 3, and 4 sprues, and this would be the warning for the included paints and glue. So the small print, should you want to read that. All right, let's have a look at the instructions first and then come back to the plastic. Move that aside as well. So, decals. We'll come back to in a moment as well. So this is like a big sheet. There we go, double-sided, printed in color. So as you can see here, it's got a blue spinner there, and it's got indicating the clear parts. Paints on the top, it's got trainer yellow, matte blue, matte sea grey, matte light grey, matte olive drab, the 3 that come in the kit, and then a satin coal black. So there's 3 paints listed here that aren't in the box, but again, that's fine. Standard little 72nd scale kit from the 70s, which is what this is. So again, looking at the back of the box, they're quite forward in stating that the year of mold manufacture is 1978 and a fully revised mold in 2022. So there's that. So being a product of its time, we've got the cabin floor, the rear bulkhead, the seat, and the yoke, control yoke. It's saying basically paint them in matte light grey, which is not necessarily correct. I don't think it is. I think at that time these are still a British interior green, much like that colour. This is IDF or IAF green, but it's very much like a British interior green. It's got 1-piece instrument panel and rudder pedals. It's got a separate gun sight. The propeller, spinner, afterbody assembly, and the it's saying not to glue that, so you can have the propeller spin should you want to. 2 fuselage halves go together. The support for the canopy rolling back goes on, and then the 2 clear parts of the canopy go in place. Exhaust, the horizontal stabs, the carburetor 2 halves come together. Build up the undercarriage with the inner doors, the wheels and struts, and the scissor links as well, little things so the wheels, the oleos don't swivel, they keep them straight. 2 radiators go inside the wing. Again, it's saying to paint these a matte sea grey. In reality, they're going to be aluminium, which is not one of the colours listed up the top here. So they're saying basically it's their closest colour to aluminium there. Pitot probe on, landing gear on, and the carburetor inlet going on. Flipping over the page. There we go. The top wing goes onto the completed lower wing assembly, and then the whole thing attaches to the fuselage. And that's it, job done. The last step is the color callouts. So this being a later one, this is 1945, so either the very end of the war or post-war. So at this stage, they had gone to the different roundels instead of, they've got the white coming back in the overwing roundel. In fact, that's different. The old box art here has got, that'll be a post-war roundel. So the ones they were using, say, by the Korean War and everything else. Whereas this one would be the end of the Second World War. So it's clipped wing, as you see it. This has got a blue spinner. It's got the aircraft serial number is half there at the back of the aircraft there. It's, I think, JO or TG there, but that'd be part of it. And the aircraft squadron, GE would be the squadron and D would be the aircraft number, which is why these are a lot of time out of order one side in relation to another. Not always, but sometimes. So the double letter is a squadron. The single letter is which aircraft in that squadron in alphabetical order. Underside, same deal. It's recognition light underneath. It's just a reddish or orangish light. And it's a standard, pretty much late war scheme there. Let's have a look at the plastic then. Oh, decals first, because they're here. Yeah, they look, we'll zoom in, focus there. Look nice. Can't see a problem with any of that at all. This aircraft is christened Winston Churchill. It's a bit hard to see there because it's white. But this has got, I think, 7 air-to-air kill markings and 12, I'd say, strafing marks. So either, it's too small to see whether they're tanks or trains. I can't really tell. But they would have been just taking out convoys and stuff post late war. So they're the decals. They look good enough. Right. As for the rest of it, let's open this up. This is the clear parts. So just the 2 parts here. You got the windscreen and the canopy, and they're wonderfully clear. Yeah, looks like the correct shape to my eye and everything else. They're thin. They look good. They look good. That's nice. Put them back in the bag, protect them a bit. 2 halves of the fuselage. This is sprue 1. So tail wheel is on one side. This is fairly soft plastic. Again, fine. You're not going to have any problem sort of joining it up, I'd say. These are raised panel lines, being the age of the kit. But again, if I zoom in there, that's perfectly adequate, I'd say. So looking at it, and I'll flip that side over there. So it's got the Zuz fasteners around the engine access cowl there. It's got a space for the door, access door, but it's closed. Detail on the inside with crowbar. Oh, so on this side you've got the throttle quadrant on the side there. On the other side you've got the seat height adjustment there, and up top here is the gear retraction lever. So that's good enough. I think, yeah, as I said, there's enough detail there. Yeah, you can see on the the rudder. That's good enough. Once you get a bit of paint on that, you'd be able to pick out some detail there. That's pretty good. Top wing, 2 halves. Again, you can see it's raised detail, but perfectly adequate detail. The hump for the magazine for the Hispano cannon, and you've got smaller axis ones for outer wing machine guns. So there and there, and there's a hump for where the wheels come up on the underside of the wing, just to give it a bit of clearance. Horizontal stab, there's detail on both sides. Again, the rudder is elevators, I should say, clearly picked out. That's more than adequate. You have a choice of exhaust stacks. There's probably only one detailed in the kit. Let's see which one it is. So parts 9 and 10, which are these ones with the separate exhaust stacks as opposed to the combined ones. So yeah, if you wanted to fit those, you can, but this is the ones that the kit is asking you to fit. Again, that's perfectly fine. Clearly stamped Hella underneath there. No year or any other marking there, but that's frame 2. Frame 3 is the lower wing. 2 radiators there, the cooler flaps in the flying position. All the flight control surfaces, the flaps and the ailerons are faired here. They're not separate. Again, raised panel lines, but it's, yeah, more than adequate. It's pretty much everything you'd need there. The landing gear, the wheels, and the radiators. Now, there's no detail on the radiators, but you're not really going to see them. They're going to be sitting in those gaps there. These were increased in size over, say, the Mark 5 Spitfire, the early ones, because of more power from the engine. But yeah, that's frame 3. And last one, frame 4. So we've got what? Spinner. The spinner after body assembly. The propeller is, again, more than fine. The seat is still on the frame, but it's a bit loose. It's got a big divot, ejection mark at the base of the seat there. That'll have to be cleaned up. There's no pilot figure in this. That's the cockpit floor, so that represents the slides where the rudder pedals go. And yeah, because the bottom of the aircraft is fairly open, but you've got slides where the heels of the pilot can go. This is a one piece. That's the rear wall. Frame 11, it would be on the actual aircraft that supports the seat. This is one piece assembly for what is would be frame 9. So there's the instrument panel with the rudder pedals and the compass. And yeah, that's all there. So are there instruments? There are instruments very lightly figured in there, but generally they're black on black anyway. You won't see much detail, but if you just give that a little bit of a highlight with white or even silver, that'd be enough to bring up that detail there. The pedo probe, carburetor inlet, the 2 undercarriage oleos, the control yoke, 2 lost for words again, the scissor link assemblies for the undercarriage, and I'm not even sure what those last bits were. Oh yeah, so that's the support for the canopy behind the pilot's head. So bit of a headrest if you like, but basically it's behind the pilot's head on the fuselage. So that's it. That's pretty much all you get in that one. It's a very cheap kit. Like you can get these for about $25 Australian, and that's including the paint. 30 at the most. So it's very, very cheap, and you know any kid would be able to throw together one of these with a bit of assistance and detail shown how by, say, a parent or an uncle or whatnot. So ideal for, say, birthdays and stuff like that. It's exactly the sort of kit that I grew up with. That subject matter, you get a couple of these lined up on a bench and they look fantastic. So that is the Spitfire Mk.XVI. Focus by Hella. Kit number 56282. And that is it. Thank you once again for joining and having a quick look at that. I'll see you guys next time. Hooroo.